outstanding, a world-class vision, a world-class this.
I'm a real leadership geek, honestly. I've spent my whole career reading books and chatting to people.
I just find the whole thing and the announcement, the way it's been announced, bizarre.
If you could move away from a model where teachers are so intensely focused.
Here we are. Welcome.
Yeah. Shall I go ahead?
You go ahead, yeah.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Sunday Social with myself, Claudia, Martin Sketchley, and our guest today, Michael Free. Super excited. Today we are talking about, I've forgotten what we're talking about. Yes, now I remember. Is it possible to have a thriving career in ELT? And so we're going to be delving into that with Michael. And a little bit about Michael. He's a university lecturer, my colleague, actually, instructional designer and an educational technologist with over 15 years of experience in English language education. And you look so young, Michael. I can't believe you've been doing 15 years.
It's the custom blurring effect that I have on my face, which is a very, very clever way of saying that something is amiss with the settings. So yeah, but this is a good version of me, blurry.
Yeah, it looks awesome. He currently teaches at Chuncheon National University of Education and Kangwon National University in South Korea, and he focuses on intercultural communication, presentation skills, and AI in education. And he's currently completing his doctorate in educational technology at, is it Boise State University?
That is correct.
Yeah. And he's known for his practical, future-focused approach to using AI to support teachers and learners. So awesome, Michael. Wow. We're so excited to have you here, and I'm a bit nervous. I hope I did okay with the intro, but I'm really grateful.
Wonderful.
No, that was
grateful to be back, Martin.
Yeah.
Good to have you back. It was really enjoyable last time. Yeah. Awesome.
And a happy new year, everybody, because it's the first show since
many happy returns to everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hope everybody had a good start to the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Good celebrations.
Yeah. And if I'm correct, it's the year of the horse, is that right?
Yeah.
So that would be my year. So you'll probably be able to deduce my age.
Your age. Oh. I didn't know that.
Anyway, Claudia had a really interesting idea to get us started, which is maybe you could describe it for us, if that's all right.
Yeah, so really simply, the traditional way of introducing yourself is to kind of tell everybody about yourself, but I thought we could say some answers about ourselves and everyone else guesses the questions. And so when I'm explaining it to students, I always use the basic, my name is Claudia, so what's the question? The question would be, what's your name? And then we go from there. But I try and use answers that are not so easy to guess. I mix it in depending on the grade level. But today, since we have geniuses among us, let's make it a little bit hard.
Sure. And I guess anyone watching, if you're watching wherever you are, feel free to add in the questions that you think are connected to the answers, I suppose.
Yeah. So I'll go first. I'll say. Shall I say all five or one by one? What's easier for everybody?
This is your show. Do it however you like.
Okay, I'm gonna say one by one. First one's gonna be super easy. The Fresh Prince.
Okay.
What is the nickname of your husband?
No, I wish. Not quite tall enough.
Right, okay. I grew up watching it, so
Yeah.
I'm just waiting to see if anyone in the comments has any ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we comment? Because I could write it.
Yeah, I believe so.
Or I joined the chat. Connect.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Any guesses? It's not
no.
to connect.
Yeah. So, The Fresh Prince. Okay. I would hesitate and just say your favorite TV show when you were a kid.
Bing Bang Bosh. I loved watching The Fresh Prince. I like knew the beginning and everything when it would come on, and I would like sing it. Nice one, good. Second one is Grime.
Grime. Okay.
Grime.
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 What is a problem area of your bathroom?
No, nothing to do with my home.
Any ideas from anyone? So number 2 is Grime.
Grime. I'll say a clue is you hear it.
Yeah, I just Googled it.
No, you did. Oh, you cheater.
What's your favorite genre of music?
Yeah, favorite genre of music is grime. So grime is really like rap music, but from London, really. So I kind of grew up on that, and it just became one of my favorite. Although I have many, but it's the one that I usually introduce to people because it's not well known. Number 3, Malaysia.
Malaysia. Where did you go on holiday?
Almost. That's not the question I'm thinking of. You gotta get the question I'm thinking of.
I just added a grime playlist so people can.
Oh, really? You can
later
take
on.
a listen. I don't know if they should take a listen. They might judge me afterwards. Actually, I'll give it to you, Martin. I wanted where did you last go on holiday, but yeah, Malaysia is where I went on holiday. And then lastly, Jim Jill Bang.
Your favorite place in Korea?
That's not the answer. That's not the answer.
Where do I go during the winter months in Korea? No.
No.
Where have you never been?
No.
I give up.
It's Martin's answer, but the opposite, basically.
Where don't you? Sorry, what was the question?
You said, "Where's your favorite place to go?" And it's the opposite of favorite. Whereas my least favorite place that has given me many horrors or horrible situations, it will be the Korean sauna. I absolutely hate going to the Korean sauna.
Okay.
Just it's not fun. And for those of you watching who have no idea what it's like, I'll leave it for when you do come to Korea and you experience it yourself. So those were my 5. I loved watching The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air growing up. I love listening to rap music, grime, and love going to Malaysia, and that was where I last traveled there in October. There was one more I didn't say. Sorry, I skipped it. Jim Jill Bang was the 4th one, which is the place that I least love to go to. Number 5 is Stamford Hill.
Your hometown or where you grew up?
not my hometown, but we've all got to go to this place.
Stamford Hill.
Where were you born?
No.
We all have to go to this place.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Michael, stop
I've-
cheating.
I've got no idea.
We've all got to do it for about 6 years normally.
Stamford Hill. I've
Yeah.
got no idea, I'm afraid. For 6
Well,
years.
it's just a name. Everyone might have a different name, but mine was
Where did you go to school?
my elementary school. Yep, that's
Okay.
it. So, yeah. Okay. I'm done. Somebody else can go now.
Okay,
I feel like I should afford an English accent now, but that would just be horribly embarrassing.
You can give it a go.
I would end up sounding like a right.
Ding bang.
rebel.
No, I promised, Claudia, I wouldn't curse, so I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Okay, Michael, do you want to have a go with your 5
Let's do it.
answers?
And I'll be really, really quick because I've tried to be clever with a couple of these, and you'll never get them.
Oh,
But well, maybe you will, but I'll help you a little bit. The first one's quite easy, and if you think about how Claudia introduces this to her students, this will help you. The answer to number 1 is swimming.
your favorite hobby?
Nope.
What you don't like to do in your free time?
Nope.
What
How
do
does
you want?
how does Claudia introduce this to her students? What's her example name? Right?
What's your name?
Yeah. What's your name?
Come on, Claudia.
What's your what's your what? I'm really thinking. This is my really thinking face.
Who do you know that I know whose name is swimming in English?
What's your wife's name?
Yep. My wife's
Yeah.
Korean name is Sooyoung, which,
Sooyoung.
if you use that in colloquial Korean, means
Yeah.
swimming.
Swimming.
See, aren't I? Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
clever. No, that's clever.
good.
That's really clever.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to my students because it would cause them too much stress, and they would never believe me. Number 2 is it's the title of a movie that will help you. And the English title of the movie, it's quite well known. It's a Korean movie. The English title is Exuma, and the Korean title is Pamyo.
Pamyu. Eczema.
What was the last movie you watched?
Nope.
What's your favorite Korean movie?
No, but it was pretty good. Kim Go-eun is in it, and she apparently was so effective as a shamanist, as a shaman in this movie, that the actual shaman who was there had to tell the ghost to go away because they were just kidding, which was awesome. No one's going to get this, but I'd like to mention it because I love Korean movies. That movie is really, really awesome. And at one point while I was watching this movie, I ended up screaming, not because it's a horror movie exactly, but because at one point it actually shows you the name of a county, Gosong, and that's the name of my Korean home county, the first place I ever lived. And it's like, yeah. So it's a completely obscure, but it's really cool, and you should see the movie because it's really neat. And then when you see the building where it says Gosong, you can go, I know a guy who lived there.
So where did you live when you first came to Korea? Is that the question?
Yeah. Well,
Good
my
song.
Korean hometown.
Your Korean hometown.
That one was really hard.
Yeah, that was really hard. No, but it's good. It's good because the whole point is to get to know you. So now I know your first Korean hometown. Mine was Hwacheon in like the north, north to the border.
Yours was
Love
Hwachong?
that place. Yeah, that was the first place I landed.
I was
Yeah.
just there last week for a funeral.
Oh, it was in Hwachong. Oh.
It was in Hwachong, yeah. Good.
I
good
may
times.
have been to that funeral place before because
It's way up on a hill.
Yeah, I ended up helping a florist set up somebody's whatever what do you call it,
The
viewing.
wreath.
Randomly ended up doing that one time, and it was probably at that place. Yeah. Okay, Michael, what's your next one?
Let's just do a couple more, and it'll be really, really easy. The answer is educational technology.
What's your specialization in teaching?
Maybe in a few years it will. That would be.
Oh, okay.
What are you? No, you're not studying education. What are you teaching at the moment?
Well, depending on the day, yeah, I do teach that, but it's what am I?
What do you like to teach, or what you studying?
What I'm studying for my doctorate, because my doctorate is not in ELT. It's in EdTech, which might be germane to our chat later on.
Sure. Why do I think you were doing something else? I'm sorry, I'm a bad friend.
No, you're not. We just, we see each other once every 6 months. So yeah, it's hard to keep up. Let's just do one more, and I'll shave it down to 4 so that we can get on. The answer is Korea TESOL's top 30 contributees in 30 years.
What's your biggest achievement in Korea?
It's a very flattering way of putting it. No, I don't know if it's my biggest one, but it was a rather nice one.
Yeah, that's quite cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I had another one, but let's just crack on. Let's just crack on. Is that a good English idiom for us?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah,
crack on.
Yeah, let's crack on. Well, I'm just gonna move swiftly on to our first partnership for this show. So this show is brought to you in partnership with Hachette Learning, the publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. So level up your professional development today and visit www.hachetlearning.com to explore their full range of titles. So our topic for today, Claudia, if you can remind me, is can we have a thriving career in ELT?
In ELT, is it possible? And the reason why I asked that question, or I wanted to discuss that topic, was because recently in both of the university that I work in, the hours have been reduced. And this is something that I've been facing now for a few years. And I really like and enjoy working in these places. But the longer I've stayed, the worse, it's gotten. So it then brought to mind, like, what can we do? And I saw, Martin, that you started to talk about how to kind of set up your own classes, or finding your own students kind of by yourself. So it made me more curious as to how you guys are doing it as well, or what are you doing to address kind of the situations that we're in, specifically in Korea. I don't know if it's like that in other EFL countries, but so that's why I was curious.
So, any thoughts, Michael? How to make sure that one's career and prosperity, I suppose, in this industry is continued.
I have so many thoughts on this, but I have to be careful that our bosses, our leaders, are not watching this. No, I'm being a little bit playful here, or at least I hope to be. Well, I mean, let's just think about the word career. people who are watching and listening, and you two good people who are surrounding me, probably know the name Scott Thornbury. And he asked the question some years ago, and he's asked it more than once, is ELT even a profession? Is it even something where you can have a career? Is it possible to have a career? We'll get to the thriving part later, but let's just start with career. For most people, it's not a career that they choose. A lot of people here, I think of the EPIC program in Korea or the JET program in Japan. People want to have a year or two where they go to a different culture. They are exploring the idea of teaching. So maybe they will be a teacher. Maybe that's where they're headed. Maybe not. Some people come in and they stay for a couple of years and then they run away. Some people stay for a few years and then they move on to different areas. They move on to administration. They move on to something else. But very few people that I know stay in the classroom. I can think of a couple of people that have done this in EPIC, but that's 3 or 4, maybe 5 people out of hundreds of people. Do I have a career? Some people, they go, "Oh, Michael, are you still in Korea? So that's like your career?" Because ELT isn't really viewed as, it's not like, oh, you're a doctor. Oh, you're a banker. Oh, you're a lawyer. Oh, you're a bus driver. Oh, you're ooh, you teach English like over in Asia? It's kind of looked a little bit askance. But I mean, can you make a career? I have, but I don't. And I'm thinking about this. I've been thinking about it quite a bit because, as Claudia mentioned, our universities are merging, where a whole bunch of things are merging. I attended an afternoon of Korean language professors and academics and administrators explaining what this merger was going to look like. And I could almost taste the fear as the institutions begin to panic. Now, if you don't live in Korea and you're not familiar with this, one of the pretty big challenges that Korea has is that they're not making little Koreans. There's no babies, and this has made its way through elementary, middle school, high school, and now it's hit the universities. So we've got a lot of classrooms and not a lot of students. So what do we do? And this is going to mean that a lot of places are going to merge. A few places have already shut down. And as Claudia mentioned, what it means for people in my specific career thing that I've put together. I'm sorry, I'm really blurry. I don't know why. Says the guy who is doing an Ed D and Ed Tech. Can't. Ridiculous. I've got 2 part-time jobs, and this works for me because it allows me time to study. So I'm doing my Ed D, which is fine, and my Ed D is going to maybe help me pivot out of ELT, or it's going to end up being hybrid. So there's something like that. It's certainly, for me, it's certainly not how my father would have considered his career. He was a civil engineer, or an uncivil engineer, as my mother used to say. And he had the same job for almost 40 years. And one thing I like about teaching, and I don't like it, I love it about teaching, is that it's actually not the same. I mean, if you do it correctly, I mean, what I do and what I'm teaching, it varies from day to day, not just from class to class. So, I mean, I think I have a career. It can be sustainable. You can make a living at it, but man, not in Korea. I wouldn't advise somebody to come here now. I just had an old colleague and friend from my university days, my first university days. We ended up working at the same restaurant together, which was really interesting because one day he said to me, "Hey, you know what? You've met me." And I said, "Oh, really? Where?" He married one of my neighbors from my hometown. he's English from England, and he came to Toronto and ended up marrying the person who lives across the street from me. Weird, little bit weird, little bit of an aside there. Sorry about that.
Bit of a small world, eh?
Yeah.
His niece or some distant relation is thinking of coming to Korea and wanted some advice, and I'm happy to help as much as I can. But it made me think, wages have not gone up.
Yeah.
And now for us, for people who are in part-time positions, our hours are going down because there's not enough students. And that's not cool. I don't need extra hours, but I mean, I would take them depending on what I'm doing. But if everything's going to shrink, it really, I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that this dip in hours is something that is a bump in the road, and then in the next year or something, they will pop back up. But I'm not optimistic. I'm withholding judgment. So it's a bit different. But is that an ELT thing, or is that this is the world we live in, where it's not careers anymore? It's gig economy, right? So, I have my 2 part-time gigs, and then I have some other stuff. Martin has his gig, and then he has some other stuff. Claudia has her gig, and then she's also, an author. You should buy her book. I'm not supposed to. Oh, but it's not my book, so
Yeah.
maybe that. Oh no, Martin's.
That's
So,
all right. That's okay.
I mean, is it possible to have a career? I think it is, but it's not. You apply, you get the job, and then you have it for the next 35 years.
You've raised quite an interesting point. A number of points, I must say, which is great. The first thing, I've had the privilege of having been in English language teaching in Korea and in the UK, where I've seen both how ELT is within the microcosm of South Korea, but also within the broader context of the UK, whilst I've been teaching international students. And I discovered very early on in the UK, English teaching is very seasonal. So in the summer months, there's a lot of students that come over to have some intensive language course and then go back to their home country to get that promotion because they've improved their English, or they go on to university study themselves. They have to pass the IELTS, so there's a lot of IELTS preparation. They go into the university in the UK or English-speaking country, and then they continue on with their academic studies at higher education. In South Korea, it's quite different. And I learned very early on, that if you were going to be teaching in England, you would have to stand out compared to your colleagues. And, that's when I invested in my professional development. I took an MA and I took a diploma, practical teaching diploma, equivalent to the Delta. And I was very fortunate to get into university teaching in the UK, which is also considered the gem job, like university teaching in South Korea, although there are issues in the broader context of things. But then I made the move back to South Korea to work at a university because since COVID hit, things took a dip and university work was starting to dry up and everybody was running around for the little scraps of classes that were starting to become less and less available. And if someone said to me, can I make a career out of English teaching? I would say yes, but you need to do more than just classroom teaching. There's certain things that you need to do outside of the classroom where you just improve your recognition, your professional development and that side of things.
And I think I'm really grateful to Michael for that, because I felt really stuck until I met you, Michael. And then I don't know, because Code to Soul had been like advertised around, but it was just one of those things like, what can it really bring? And then you see the fee, and then you're like, well, what am I going to do with that? But then Michael was like, just come along and like, apply for as a speaker. And then it was just really nice after so many years of kind of doing things by myself or trying to convince other colleagues, like, let's do something more than just teach the same subject every year, every semester. Like, let's do something.
Yeah.
I want to grow in what I'm doing. I quite enjoy, and then that's the thing, right? Because I've also told people, I teach English in Asia, and they're like, still, you haven't left.
But
what
then it's got that sort of perspective. I tried to get into teaching in the public sector in the UK. And my first early job interviews post MA, which was kind of funny, I went into the public school and the head teacher came along and said, what have you been doing recently? Can you tell me about yourself? And I said, well, I went to South Korea. I was there for 3 years. I was teaching English and da, da, da. I said, oh, so that was TEFL. And I was like, do you really have to call it that? Because there's so much more than just, it's TEFL. It's what people do for a gap year. There's that sort of...
Yeah, it does have that stigma kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
And for me, it's really annoying because I'm like, do you know what we go through in that classroom? We are interpreters, we are negotiators, we're doing everything that every other teacher does. We're managing our classroom. Most of us teach alone. We don't have any help. And we've got to go beyond what regular teacher does, because we're not even speaking the same language as our students half of the time. I remember being thrown into a class with like nursery, like kindergartners, who like they were just staring at me the whole time. I have no idea till this day how we managed to communicate, but somehow we understood each other, even though I didn't know any Korean, they didn't know any English, and they kind of quickly taught me morago, which is what
What
everything was morago, and I was like, okay, they're not understanding. Do something else. So it frustrates me that people look down upon us, because I feel like, actually, no, if you try it and see how hard it is. Sorry, Martin, go ahead.
The first, it reminds me of the first Korean phrase that I learned just through context, and the kids were like trying to look at the whiteboard and they said "amboyo, amboyo." I can't see it.
My first three were shiro, morago, and miwo. So no, shiro is just like no,
I don't want to do it.
morago is what, and then miwo is hate. So it was like those three words were said to me over and over again, and I had no idea. But the funniest word that they told me was tweji. I had this class and we were playing this game, this ball game. So I was like, pass the ball. And I said, what's your name, to this little girl? And all of the class members said, Tweji. And obviously she's a little bit more plump than everybody else, poor thing. So I'm there going, pass the ball to Tweji then. Tweji, come on, get involved. And then she starts to cry. And then I'm like, why are you crying, Tweji? Stop crying. And then they're like, teacher, you're calling her pig. And I was like, oh my gosh. So those are some of the things we have to deal with. I mistakenly called the kid pig and had her crying, but we got over it. We became great friends after that. She forgave me.
Well, I think they forgive you because they understand, and that can actually be really good, because if you're teaching them English but then they see you also model yourself as a language learner, and so it's like, you know what, I get you. And like even just pronunciation or whatever. Anytime I say the number 18 in Korean, I just don't say it anymore.
No.
Because if you say it the wrong way, it's not good. Yeah. And I promised Claudia I wouldn't curse on here. So But to speak to something that Claudia brought up, there's a very systemic view of people in our jobs. Even though Claudia's job and my job, we're not conversational English teachers, but that's what we are when people look at us. I once, trying to be helpful, like I'm a very helpful person. Maybe.
You are.
I was speaking to an administrator who's a lovely person. And I mentioned, I said, look, I am available. If you need me to teach more hours in the speaking and listening course, which is the one that the foreigners get at Congo National University, I can also teach the reading and writing section. And she stopped me dead and just said, oh, no, you can't, because you're a foreigner. You're a conversational English teacher. And I looked at her and I was like, well, geez, so why did I get my MA in TESOL and TEFL from Birmingham, by the way? Yay, jolly old England.
Oh, good.
Maybe I should apply for citizenship. Nah, I think I'm okay. But that's really in their mind. And they think, well, all you do really is you take your textbook, which is not always the case, and you just go through everything, and that's it. There's nothing else to it. Excuse me, but when I'm designing the course integrating AI into elementary education, when I'm designing that, like I'm literally taking a doctoral degree in it. And so the amount of work that goes into that, but Michael, it's not that he's a professor, he's a conversational English teacher. It ends up being an insult. They're trying to put you in your place. Now, to a certain extent, I get it, but that's really hard to change that mindset.
It's very fossilized, isn't it? When it gets down to that. And funnily enough, when I went to my wife's hometown yesterday evening, the lady behind the desk at the front desk, this morning I was going down to get some free coffee that they dispense at the counter, and she helped me out because it wasn't working. And she said, "Oh, where are you from? Are you from America?" And that was the first assumption, like putting you into that box. And it's like, "Oh no, I'm from England." And then she was like, "Oh, your nose is kind of tall," And I was like,
"High nose."
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. I appreciate that. But it's so ingrained, I suppose, when it comes down to people wanting to place individuals where they are, and it's very difficult to change that thought, that thinking that they may have when it comes down to you being a conversational teacher.
It does happen. Our boss, one of them, Professor Yoon, he recognizes that we are not conversational English teachers. He gets that. So I mean, it does happen, but
he's also younger. I felt like the younger professors still have some kind of drive to make some changes, but
there's
older seasoned professors are more just I found them personally just kind of set in their ways to some extent, and just like, we're satisfied. I've kind of done all of that hard work before. I'll stick to what's working. It was so funny. We had a professor, one of the schools that I teach, where he was I think he was still using cassette players to teach songs. Wow. Because we're teaching how to teach English to elementary students, so part of the course is how to use songs in the classroom, and he was still going back to like CDs and cassette players, which if that's your thing, by all means go for it, but we've moved on far from that now in the classroom. And so the students always remarked that, like, wow, we're still doing that. We're still using that. So.
Well, one of my first schools that I worked at in the UK after coming back from Korea, and actually one thing that I should note is in South Korea at the British Council, they were the first centre ever to have IWBs throughout their classrooms. So everything was digitalised back in 2006, I think they installed it. And I went back to a school in the UK, and they had all their tapes on a shelf, much like the shelf in our background. And the CDs as well. And it was, you would have to get that tape out. You'd have to find the place. And if you want to play it twice, you have to hit the tape player where it gets to 000, let it play throughout, and then rewind it back to play it again. And it works, but my gosh, things have moved on since then.
They have.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to move on to our next sponsorship for this show. So join Bet for the biggest week in education from, it's just around the corner actually, the 21st to the 23rd of January 2026 in XL London, with immersive workshops, thought-provoking speakers, hundreds of hours of CPD accredited content, cutting-edge technology, unrivaled networking, and there's no opportunity quite like it for educators. So get your free ticket today by visiting uk.betshow.com. And there we go. Right. Well, obviously, how do you make your career in ELT? We've had a few thoughts about it, but if we go back to making it quite a successful career, I think we're very fortunate because we kind of hit teaching when there was this growth for the demand for English teachers. But now, as was mentioned before, the birth rate has decreased and everything's starting to merge. And what else could, if we were going to give some ideas to our viewers of the show, what else could we recommend for those that are, they've got their first few years of teaching, they've got their qualifications, they've done a bit of CPD. What else could they do? Any thoughts?
Well, this sort of brings us to the thriving part of things. And and of course, I asked Claude and ChatGPT, what my answer to his question.
Well, I thought you were talking to me. I was like, oh, you asked me. No, of course.
Claude, who I am convinced is a sarcastic actual gremlin sometimes. about when you think about career, that's one thing, but when you think about what it means to thrive, that means different things to different people. In some ways, and thinking about this upcoming merger is what's really foregrounded this in my brain in recent weeks. I'm good with where I am. I go in, I teach. My courses are, the one course I teach at Kangwon National University is kind of a bread and butter course. I do it via presentation skills. I know what I'm doing. I know the students. It's good. The courses that I teach at Chungcheon National University of Education, one of them is intercultural communication. Absolutely fascinating. Love it. But it's not just conversation. It's then the question of, well, which English are we supposed to speak? And why are we speaking English if that's not actually in terms of volume, if that's not the most frequently spoken language? It's colonialism and, England going around going, hey, I think we're going to take over this country for a couple of 100 years. You have to learn English. So there's legacy stuff there, and that's going to change a little bit. Fascinating. My course in AI, I love it. I actually have started a doctorate in education. So I'm teaching full-time and I'm a full-time student at the same time. My brother thinks I'm an idiot. He's like, what? School is for losers. What are you doing spending money again? I think it's fascinating. I think the questions that we're asking, my sister-in-law, who also thinks I'm an idiot, by the way. I love them and they love me too, but they're very different from artsy teacher guy, Michael. And she said, well, you know, what's the value of this? What are you getting out of doing a terminal degree? And what I'm getting is I'm not there yet. I'm coming to the point where I can actually give in-depth, coherent answers to questions like, is AI going to take my job? Or how do I react to AI? What do I do? But this also helps me because it allows me to pivot out of ELT if the whole thing collapses, because now with translation, automatic translation being as good as it is, for most people, they probably don't need conversational English teachers, really. Well, I mean, they kind of do.
They still do. I'm still. They do. They need humans.
Not to the extent that they used to. So I mean, so for me, I mean, yes, I'm paying a little bit more money, and this is maybe going to help my career, but I feel like that was the right thing to do, because now Michael is reading stuff and thinking about stuff and talking to people who aren't in ELT about education and educational technology. I'm also not doing Netflix and chicken and beer all the time. I have to be in my office like I am right now. It's Sunday. I should be watching TV with my wife, but I'm here with you people. Yeah, and it's lovely and it's great.
Yeah.
So, you know, so the work and the joy we find in that doesn't always come from money. You carve it out. Some people think, oh, Michael, why don't you live in Seoul? Like, doesn't everybody who works in Korea live in Seoul? No, some live in Busan. Very, very few live in our province. The fact that you've got Claudia and Michael and we're both in Gangwon province, wow, I mean, that's kind of statistically unlikely. But there's these different reasons, and you have to think about them. One more thing before I let other people talk, because I don't want to just talk myself, was when Claude made me laugh, not Claudia. Claude made me laugh. And you know, there's genuine space for creativity and innovation in ELT. And this makes me laugh because part of being in Korea, and it's similar when I talk to people who work in Japan, and then in some other countries, it's similar at the university level. Sometimes we are simply left to our own devices to teach whatever. My AI course, I design it, I decide what goes into it. My boss, Professor Yoon, he knows what I'm doing in there, and he's like, no, it's fine, it's good. No one is looking over my shoulder, so I can be creative, which is great, and I like that.
You would think, Michael, but I disagree. I definitely know they definitely see and look.
Oh, do they?
They stare from afar. Oh yeah, I found that out the hard way. But yeah.
Well, I mean, they can. I told him he can come in whenever he wants. But on the other hand, they don't. When you try to be innovative, when you try to be creative, like we're merging, and this is causing a lot of people a lot of stress. But you know, if you read about leadership, which I just had to do in EdTech 604, leadership, last semester, got 100% in that course, by the way, I think.
Well done.
Thank you. I go in and I talk to people who are administrators. They look at me like I'm crazy when I say, now we have to now's the time where we can do stuff that's creative. Now we can get new courses going. And they're like, oh, no, I don't want to do that, because that's work. It's not received in the same way as people, like if you are at, I don't know, Google or Meta or wherever, where they are looking for things that can improve or give a richer or better educational experience. Here it's just in some cases, not always, in some cases it's just viewed as, you are annoying me with this talk of curricular change. We do, this is what we do here. So you shush, be quiet, and go teach your conversational English classes. Not always, but Yeah, that's a hard part for me, because I love thinking about stuff and experimenting and doing stuff, and it's great. And some people don't like it, which can put a damper on how well you feel you're thriving.
It kind of reminds me of the scenario that was given to me, or that I became aware of in my early career, was when I think it was a talk or a workshop in the UK, and it was like, well, it might have been with Jeremy Harmer or one of the other more reputable authors, and they said, do you want to be teaching the same thing every year for 12 years and have 1 year of experience multiplied 12 times, or do you want to have 12 years of experience and doing different things each year? And I think the best educators are the ones that actually push the boundaries, try different things out, and go, well, yeah, we have AI, which is becoming more and more prolific, and with students using it daily.
Yeah,
it makes sense to embrace AI, as much as I dislike it, I'm afraid. But it does have a place. And it's really, we're the ones that are having to tackle the use or the misuse of AI in our classrooms. And those ones that don't want to change will find the certain issues that are coming up year on year. I think it was at Yonsei, there was over 100 students that were connecting with this online course, and almost all of them were using AI to their advantage for their midterm and final exam. And it's like, well, we're the ones that take things seriously, I hope. And we're the ones that want to try and go, well, how can we use it? Not, it's there. How do we incorporate it? How do we encourage ethical use of AI?
It's everyone is talking about it, and in about 5 years, I'll be able to give you something intelligent.
I'll be waiting.
We'll mark this date and wait for you in 5 years' time. But for me, I think sometimes it can be quite difficult to change the minds of your bosses. But I think in the classroom, what you do in the classroom and in your personal time is really key. So I think in order to thrive, especially if you're someone like me, who you came into this by accident, and then you realize, I quite like doing this. How can I do more? How can I carry on and actually make a living from it? I think it is about investing in yourself. For example, joining like Soul, or just joining something where you regularly attend conferences, you speak to other people in education. Because I think for me, the biggest eye opener has been seeing other people do stuff other than just teaching our conversational classes. It's been about seeing you, Martin, seeing what you're doing and how you're helping other teachers. It's been about meeting other creative types of people, because last year I got to be in a play, and it was just because somebody decided they're going to do an English play, and then they're going to put it out there. And that was a huge thing for me, because I absolutely love that. And I've always been thinking about doing kind of merging theatre and English, but I've never really had the guts. Also the visa. Now I've got the right visa, I can actually, do some of these things and earn from it. So that would be the other thing. If you want to thrive in Korea, get the right visa. So get your language, get onto an F visa. Or marry a Korean, that's the other way. But get the right visa. Get the right visa to give you a lot more freedom to be able to work or start your own business or your own course. But I think it's investing in yourself. That's really, really good. As like things are kind of coming down, I'm looking more and more to kind of making more materials specifically for Korean teachers, Korean parents. I think that's another place that you can kind of look into. It's actually making stuff for parents, because when I one of the launches that I was able to do was with Korean parents, talking to them about how they can teach or study English together with their children, rather than making it, you know, just you child go and sit at your desk and you study English. But it's like, how can we do it together? And it was quite a fresh idea, which I'm sure a lot of the parents were like, no, that's just too much work. But just proposing the idea alone, and then having like all of these parents and kids listening, giving them tips on how they can make it work, how it's not so daunting. A lot of people were like, okay, like this might not be that bad. You know, we can take it step by step, or even educating them on what they need to know, or talking about misconceptions. Like, one of the biggest misconceptions is that phonics is only for kindergartners, nursery. And it's like, no, you can study phonics, you know, for as long as you need to, because once they come to me in university, they still struggle to spell and read, because probably somewhere down the line somebody was like, phonics is just for little kids. So I was like, you know, teaching about all of these things. So, you know, kind of going into a bit of public speaking, or creating materials, or even just like you do, Martin, YouTube, investing in like social media. All of these pathways can be great avenues for thriving, if, you know, not in your day job.
Yeah, good point. Right. Well, here's our next sponsorship and Teachers Talk Connect is back, our annual CPD and networking extravaganza. So join the TTR team on Saturday, the 14th of March in Manchester. Tickets are free. So what are you waiting for? Head over to ttradio.org Connect 2026. And there we go. Right. Well, Michael, you've obviously been involved with English language teaching for, 30 years? Is that correct?
Oh, it's not 30 yet, but I mean, we're coming. Yeah, it will be 20. I will have been in Korea for 20 years this year.
20 years. Wow. So where do you see things evolving for the future? We touched upon, you know, the decline in birth rate. Do you think there's going to be much change, particularly with ed tech and that side of things?
Oh, where do I even start with this? So I put a little. I can't upload files on here, but I did put in a suggestion for an article that people can read about AI, because this is kind of the big thing that's going to change our working. Whether you like it, whether you hype it or whether you hate it, the article that I posted a link to, or at least gave you enough instructions, I hope that you can go and find it, goes through a typology of different ways that real English teachers have responded to it, ranging from ban it, ranging from hyping it, which people are not really doing. The central thing that this wonderful teacher who works, she's from Greece originally, Sofia Mavridi, she works in London now. She's in the UK somewhere. All roads lead to the UK today. This is interesting. She talks about this. Part of something that's going to be necessary for people working in language teaching, not just English language teaching, is going to know and trying to at least keep up with, every once in a while. I have to do it all the time, which is fine because I signed up for it. But knowing people like, say, me, or knowing people like Sophia Mavridi or Joe Dale, who's another person, Welsh, I think he lives on the Isle of Man. Again, it's like empire. It's empire all over again, isn't it? The people who can cut through the noise, because there's so much of it. The volume of stuff. Yes, the pejorative term now is slop. AI slop that's out there is a lot. People who are really hyped about AI are usually trying to sell you something. People who are really, they don't want to talk about it. I get that. I understand why people are like, oh my God, one more thing I have to train myself on. And then for me, I see that there's a lot of ways that AI can help us. And it goes back to something that Claudia was talking about when you've got a specific situation like parents and their children are going to work together. You can use AI to help them. You can use Papago. It helps sometimes. There's Duolingo, which is, but at least that's better than them just, getting dopamine hits from watching whatever silly 5-minute video that they might watch. You've kind of got to get educated on that, or you're going to be done for. Now, one of the many fears that I have about AI is that some administrator somewhere is going to look at how much money they can save and how much easier they can make their own lives with this. And they sort of and Korea, in many ways it's quite amazing. One area that I think it was down by Daejeon, where one county decided they were going to go all in on AI textbooks and everything was going to be AI.
Oh, yes. I think you're right in Daejeon.
The first year in middle school and high school would be the AI textbooks, and then they would continue throughout. And they've already had to back off that idea because the parents got freaked out and the teachers got annoyed because they were like, okay, you want us to use this, you have to train us.
Yeah.
You have to give us some help here, because this is not our thing. I am available to do such training. Oh, but I'm not supposed to say that. But so it's an exciting time. Isn't that what I'm supposed to say? It's an exciting time.
Yeah.
Well,
but if we, sorry, Michael, carry on.
But with this merger, now's the time to do it. And talking to my wife, Swimming, who is Korean, of course, about this is like, I have something to offer here. I would like to thrive. I would like to use the stuff that I got from my ED. I've already gotten a whole lot of it out there, but am I going to be invited to that party? Don't know. I'm not sure. I hope so, but I don't know.
If we think about when the internet was invented and it became more and more relevant and accessible for everybody, I recall the universities were worried because it's like, well, how as educators they were thinking, how can I teach if everything's available online through the internet, through Google and that side of things? But then we go a step closer to the AI era, and again it's very similar to where we are at the moment with technology, and I do hope that although there's that perceived concern about AI and the costs involved that could be saved for institutions, I hope that that we are still relevant as teachers in the classroom as we were when the internet was first invented and accessible. That's my hope.
That's my hope too. It's all our hope.
Me agree. I mean, it's going to mean a shift in how we do things.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing that I've noticed talking to people like Sophia and talking to people like Joe, because this has been their thing. I'm a newbie to the ed tech. Well, kind of, not really new, but Joe's been doing this for like 20 years and Sophia's been doing it for quite some time. They're they're senior people who are very, very well versed in this. They're thinking through these problems. But one thing that thoughtful people like them say repeatedly is that when you think about AI and in ed tech in general, pedagogy comes first. You have to know what you're doing pedagogically before, and then your AI is a tool and it can help you do things. And some things it can help you do them and it's wonderful. And other things it's an absolute disaster. But you have to have your AI literacy to a point where you can evaluate what AI is giving you. Because sometimes, sorry, Claude, sometimes Claude seems to me like he's insane. He doesn't know what he's doing. And ChatGPT the same. At other times, they're brilliant. But I have to be able to evaluate that. And that's not easy. And I get why people are avoiding it, because it can get very technical very quickly, and you don't really know who to believe. And then you've got the people who are telling you AI is going to solve all your problems if you just pay us $20 a month forever.
Yeah, that's wow. It will be interesting to see how things evolve over the next 3 to 5 years in terms of AI, and whether it will still be here or not, because there seems to be a lot of investment in terms of the business of AI, but there's no return on that investment yet. So the big financial industries, businesses, they've pushed so much in to AI and technology, and the amount of energy it takes for AI to generate an answer is worrying in itself. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
But in the meantime, as teachers, we can just get better at our craft and better at what we do.
And as Michael mentioned, you have to try and evaluate what AI is giving you. And it's very much a skill that we teach academics anyway, when it comes down to reading and finding sources for your, if you're doing a doctorate like Michael is, and you have to write your literature review, your literature analysis, and you have to find sources to support some theories, and you have to evaluate those sources. And it's exactly the same skill that you're applying for AI, and you don't take everything that AI generates as gold, because there's a lot of issues when it in terms of hallucinations and that side of things.
Yeah, because you can ask, and I did this exact thing. I wasn't, if my professors are listening, I wasn't doing it so that it would write my paper. But I would ask Claude, and I would ask ChatGPT the same thing, find me sources on such and such. And when it hallucinates your entire bibliography, you then go back and you say, hey, buddy, what are you doing? Like, I want real... Oh, yeah, sorry, you want real sources. I'm pretty sure that's what I said already. Good. Oh, what does Claude like to say? Good catch, Michael. like you're trying to trick me and trying to see if I'm paying attention? Well, I mean, of course I am.
Maybe. But I think it is quite good that it still comes up with errors, because then you as a teacher, when you're given something and it doesn't match, then you can kind of go back to the student and be like, well, we got an issue here. Because I've had a lot of students not admitting to using AI, even though I know their body of work, I know how they write, and then they give me this perfectly written piece with these words that they can't even say themselves. And I know when they've written speeches before, and you're like, did you use AI? They're like, no, just wrote that the other day. It was all me.
What I try to do with varying degrees of success, and you can't investigate every single student who may have used it. I try to give them some guidance, and it depends on what class I'm in. for the speaking and listening class that I do at Kangwon National University, I say, look, there's AI, it's out there. I'm going to tell you specific things that are going to help you learn the skills that we're trying to learn here. When we're going to focus it on speaking, we're going to focus it on listening. You can use it. Be prepared to tell me what you did. You're not in trouble.
Yeah.
You're not, it's not cheating. It's fine. But I want you to be able to tell me what you did. And there's one thing that you absolutely can't do. So there's one thing I'm telling you, you can't do. You cannot ask it to write you a 3-minute presentation on such and such a topic. And it's just going to pump out your script, because you will have learned nothing. And I'm going to know, and you think,
you're not going to say it. They can never say the actual speech.
Right. And this is it. So, but I mean, and of course, this is still relatively new, even for me, even though I've thought about it quite a bit. Is it a slam dunk win? I don't know. But my students, on the whole, they respect the fact that I'm actually talking to them about it and saying, here's what I think you should use, which is really cool and really good. Please don't do this, because then you're a cheater and that's not cool. So don't do that. Please don't do that. And they're like, yeah, okay. And most of them are okay with it.
Well, interestingly, I was starting to talk to students who, my context is international business school in Daejeon. And yes, there are Korean students who go through this English immersion program before they get into the mainstream credit classes or courses, where they have to communicate in the lingua franca, which is English, in this institute. And I was starting to talk to the students that have just gone through their second semester. Their first semester was the intensive English program, and their second semester was the credit courses, so microeconomics and etc. And I was starting to have some sort of dialogue with them and saying, how do you use AI? What do you use? How do you use it to help you when it comes down to your own academic studies? Because I'm more interested in this. And one of the students told me, well, actually, it's a very good, it gives, it can, if I have it on and it's recording or, dictating what I'm saying whilst I'm having a conversation with a fellow student, I ask it to tell me how I can improve it and any vocabulary, particularly for business purposes. And I thought, actually, some of the ideas that they have, the creative ideas that I haven't even thought about, come directly from the students. And if we listen to our students, they'll have more ideas than, I suppose, us old fuddy-duddies.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not just that we're old fuddy-duddies, but if I have two classes of my integrating AI course, so that's 60 students, and they're working with different things, and I have them spending time exploring tools and going and using ChatGPT to then find specific tools and then have them evaluate it. What did you find? What did you find that was interesting? What worked? What didn't work? Things like vocabulary, it's like you have one chat where that's your vocabulary tutor for the week. So when you get up, when you're having your coffee, all right, quiz me on these 10 terms for whether it be microeconomics or whatever.
Yeah.
Let it help you learn it, but you have to put it in your head.
Yes. And you have to be quite proactive when it comes down to that. And interestingly, for students, they can actually share their conversation, their dialogue with third parties. So if a professor or ourselves are teaching a course and it's like, well, just use this chat, I want, and then you can review and have a discussion with the student on, this is what you prompted and this is what's being provided, and how would you analyze and review what's being generated from AI. And I think having that transparency and that discussion dialogue with students is certainly the way
That's great.
forward.
I think it is also healthy for the students to know how to use it, and that it's not something secretive or something that's, it's something that's like welcomed if it's helping you. So in this semester, I kind of tried to, because I found it really hard with a class of about 30 students to listen in on every single conversation, give feedback individually. So I said, all right, record your conversations, and if you're okay, upload them to, Gemini. Gemini transcribes it, and then ask for feedback on, the vocabulary that you're using and the stress and the different pronunciation aspects. But ask it to give it to you in simple conversational style, and then to give you 2 things that you can do next class. So like, what are you going to work on? Because it's good to get feedback, but the next steps are even more important, because we've got to keep improving. And I found that to be a really helpful way to kind of support the students, because then I could like pick 2 or 3 people that I could then go and talk to them. So what did you find out, and what did you get, and how are you then working that in this conversation today? That's a lot more manageable than me trying to get to everybody within the classroom. And I think coming back to like, what we've been discussing about, I think something that's really important is for people like Michael to train, or for there to be training. Because something that's really, really frustrating is that there's no training. I've been here for like, in my workplace for like 11 years. I can count on my hand how many, and I don't even think there's even been one time where they've been like, all right, let's get in, let's train you on this new stuff or on these things, or even just training on Korean culture and Korean students. That would be really helpful. Just understanding them a little bit more, because I'm definitely from a more like, discussion background, like where we get together, we all give our opinions, and even if we've got differing opinions, it's okay to say it out loud. And so I came with that energy into the classroom, and I've just been met with a wall for the longest time until I finally learned, for Koreans, it's really, really difficult to just say your real, truthful opinion in a classroom out loud. It's really difficult. But things like Padlet really helped. But these are the things that I learned later on. So I think, I think thriving in this place, you need to be a go-getter, and you need to find the training for yourself, because it's not going to come to you.
No, you have to be proactive.
Yeah, you really have to be proactive.
Right. Well, this show is brought to you in partnership with Hachette Learning, the publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. So level up your professional development today and visit hachetlearning.com to explore their full range of titles today. Okay. We've gone, we've had this show on for nearly an hour and 20 minutes. I hope we're closer to trying to discover how to have a successful, rewarding, thriving career in ELT. Are there any final words of advice or recommendation, Michael, when it comes down to ELT in general?
If you love Korea, marry a Korean, because you'll get good Korean food, which is super duper important. You get some insight into the culture, of course, which is important. But because of the way the visas are structured in this country, if you're on an F visa, you're on a marriage visa, it means your employer doesn't control you. So that could help you thrive. I think that could be one thing. The other is, there's a lot of stuff out there that is online. A lot of it's free. Some of it's really good. Some of it is, it's hit or miss. But try to get a few places where you go and look. And I would say, Martin, you're a resource where somebody, if they had a question, they could ask you. Claudia, you're getting there. would humbly suggest that you would ask me stuff, and I could probably point you in the right direction or a good direction right away. If you have a few of those people, and also if you have people who aren't in Korea who are part of your network, because you end up in the Korean bubble. I find that I end up in the Korean bubble with my university is halfway around the world, and I'm in the bubble, and I forget that there's stuff outside of Korea. And that being global, you get ideas that you wouldn't otherwise come in contact with. Maybe it's like you're always eating ramyun and kimchi, and you're not eating other delicious foods from different other places. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Well, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. So thank you ever so much. Thank you, Claudia, for inviting Michael, and for Michael accepting.
It's great to have you, Michael.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm sorry I'm blurry, but I don't know what to tell you.
Well, hopefully
He's
next
still
time
learning AI technology.
It's just a camera thing.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
Oh well. Well, have a good week. It's Sunday, so enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. It's 9:20 here in South Korea, so we're going to be calling it tonight. But for those in Europe and further afield, have a good rest of the week, or weekend rather. And thank you for joining today's show and engaging with us today. Okay. Right. Well, thank you. All right. Take care, yeah?
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Outstanding and world-class vision, world-class this.
I'm a real leadership geek, honestly. I've spent my whole career reading books and chatting to people.
I just find the whole thing and the announcement, the way it's been announced, bizarre.
If you could move away from a model where teachers are so intensely focused.